I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Tuesday, March 25th. An investigation is underway after a person was hit by a train in Abington. Police Chief John Bonney confirmed the incident happened at West and Pine Streets at about midnight. The condition of the person who was hit by the train is still unknown. Crews on the scene have been seen testing the railroad crossing system this morning to check its functionality. Earlier this month, a beloved Randolph police sergeant was struck and killed by a commuter rail train in Abington. That preliminary investigation found no mechanical faults on the train. The MBTA also confirmed the train's lights and bells were activated and engaged with its horn sounding when Sergeant Scott Sherman of Quincy was hit and killed. This accident is at a different location from where last week's incident took place. A search is underway for a suspect who allegedly shot and killed two teenagers at a mall in Brockton over the weekend. Homicide detectives and Brockton police have sought and obtained an arrest warrant for 22-year-old DaVinci Leonard of Brockton, who's been added to the state's most wanted list. Leonard is wanted on charges of 2 counts of murder and firearms violations. Officials say Leonard may have changed his appearance and cut his hair. A gun was found near the shooting scene at the Westgate Mall. Police are now looking into whether that was the gun used to shoot and kill 18-year-old Savannah Alvarez and 15-year-old Timari Albertson in the parking lot Saturday night. Officers responding to a report of a shooting outside the Chipotle restaurant at the Westgate Mall just after 7 p.m. found a 15-year-old boy and 18-year-old woman suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. The boy, who's been identified as Albertson, was pronounced dead at Good Samaritan Hospital in Brockton. The woman, Alvarez, was flown to Mass General where she died from her injuries. Officials say the victims were not related. Authorities say Leonard is believed to have fled the scene after the shooting. He's described as 5'9", about 140 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes, is believed to be armed and dangerous. Tickets to go see country music star Darius Rucker at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Quincy in August are sold out, and the city is warning people not to get scammed by ticket resellers. The official tickets through the online company SeatGeek sold out quickly, but officials say they are seeing tickets being sold on social media for hundreds of dollars. The original ticket costs ranged from $20 to $50, depending on the seat location in the stadium. Officials warn about resellers who scam people into sending them money and then disappear. Rucker will perform on August 2nd, and the city is planning a second show either the day before or the day after, but the act has not yet been announced. The concerts are part of the Quincy 400 celebration this year. The city of Quincy is moving forward with a major infrastructure initiative to bring faster, more reliable, and more affordable internet service to residents through a municipally owned, open-access fiber broadband network. After years of planning and community engagement, the project is entering its next phase with the recent passage of a home rule petition by the City Council to authorize a revenue bond to finance construction of the citywide fiber network. That bond, which will be repaid entirely through subscriber fees, not taxpayer dollars, was filed at the state level by Senator John Keenan. The city is also finalizing the request for qualifications for design and construction and has approved the use of the construction manager delivery method to ensure efficiency and accountability throughout the process. 2 pilot neighborhoods, Quincy Point and Marymount, have been selected for the initial rollout. The city anticipates construction in the areas to begin soon, setting the stage for a full citywide build-out in the coming years. The Quincy Municipal Broadband Project will use an open access model, meaning that the city will own the infrastructure, but multiple internet service providers will be able to offer the service. The structure is designed to drive down prices and improve quality through competition. The new clubhouse at the Furnace Brook Golf Course in Quincy will open to the public on Saturday, April 5th. Mayor Thomas Koch has announced the opening of the $14 million clubhouse, which replaces the former 100-year-old clubhouse. The new clubhouse will include a restaurant operated by the Fours and a bar, a pro shop, covered deck, indoor cart storage, locker rooms, and 4 golf simulators that will be open year-round on a first-come, first-served basis. Paving and landscaping will continue as the weather improves. The putting green is also being rebuilt and relocated near the first tee and should be ready by early summer. The city took control of the golf course in 2022. Now, safety concerns are always top of mind for T riders, and despite the agency's recent efforts to bring the system back to full speed, new data compiled by the Boston Globe shows there are still a lot of improvements to be made. According to the paper, the T surpassed major states like California and New York, earning the title of being one of the worst transit systems in the nation for derailments. Most of the T's issues involve maintenance vehicles and were a combination of aging infrastructure, which had been ignored for years until recently, and operator error. Last year, drivers were issued 66 speeding citations. The numbers show staggering fluctuations in the number of derailments over the past 4 years during the extensive track repair. In 2020, there were 20 speeding citations. There were 12 in 2021, 18 in 2022, just 9 in 2023, and 44 last year, the year of the most extensive track repair work. In 2023, a scathing report came out. Federal transit officials warned the T to clean up its act and build a safety improvement plan, which it did. However, even the derailments after that report that didn't involve passengers had a snowball effect on service delays, confusion over replacement shuttle buses, and rider frustration. General Manager Phil Eng has worked with state and local officials to make safety improvements and upgrades. He says they take all derailments seriously and that the number will definitely be down next year. Brian Kane, executive director of the T's advisory board, added that he said the high number of derailments reported this year makes sense given the scope of the track work performed. However, he said it would be a concern if the trend doesn't improve. The T is staring down a $700 million budget shortfall and needs $25 billion to fix the entire system. The governor's proposed to inject $1.4 billion to stabilize finances at the agency, which requires legislative approval. Preliminary work is starting on the project to replace the Cape Cod bridges. Crews began drilling in areas around the Sagamore Bridge yesterday to take soil samples. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says to expect signage and detours around the work area. The work will happen on weekdays through the end of April. The work is happening near the Sagamore Recreation Area. Other areas where drilling will occur include Route 3 and Route 6, the Scenic Highway, Meeting House Lane, Sandwich Road, Cranberry Highway, State Road, the Mid-Cape Connector, and the Canal Service Road. The work may require temporary daytime and evening lane and shoulder closures. It'll be scheduled to avoid disruption during peak traffic times. Crews may have to remove shrubs, bushes, and branches so they can drill into the ground. Both the Sagamore and the Bourne bridges are more than 85 years old and have been deemed structurally deficient. They connect about 250,000 people living on the Cape and 5 million annual visitors. The state's focusing on replacing the Sagamore Bridge first because it sees slightly more traffic and crashes than the Bourne Bridge. The Sagamore, along with the Bourne and Tobin bridges, recently appeared on a National Transportation Safety Board list of 68 bridges that should be evaluated for a risk of collapse if they were to be hit by a vessel. The state has informed some nearby residents that their homes will be seized by eminent domain in order to build a new Sagamore Bridge. A new women's rugby team is coming to Quincy. The Boston Banshees were founded this year and are a semi-professional team that will play this coming Saturday night at 7 o'clock at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Quincy. The Boston Banshees are one of 6 teams in Women's Elite Rugby, the first professional women's rugby league in the United States. The Banshees will play the TC Gemini from the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. An estimated 3,000 people are expected to attend Saturday night's game. The Banshees will then be back in Quincy on April 19th when they play the New York Exile. Veterans Memorial Stadium is also home to the New England Free Jacks male rugby team. The largest ship ever to make port in Boston was docked in the city last night, the MSC Verona. A 1,200-foot container ship that is 167 feet wide and powered by liquefied natural gas broke the record with its visit to the Conley Container Terminal, according to Massport. Massport says the ship is the length of 4 football fields. It could be seen yesterday from South Boston's Castle Island and Black Falcon Avenue, from Deer Island across Boston Harbor, and from the Summer Street Bridge in the Seaport District. The ship will be docked until this morning. It is possible for ships of this size to visit Boston because of a years-long investment in the port, which culminated in 2022 with the installation of 3 new ship-to-shore cranes and a new 50-foot deep berth to accommodate large ships. A check of business news this morning. Stocks are higher. The Dow rose 597 points. The Nasdaq was up 404. And the S&P added 100. Shares were mixed. In Asia, the dollar fell, the euro rose, and oil at $69 a barrel. Sports. The Celtics beat Sacramento 113-95, and they'll be in Phoenix tomorrow night at 10. The Bruins are in Anaheim tomorrow night at 10. Today's forecast from the National Weather Service: mainly cloudy. A high of 52 degrees for tonight, cloudy, and a low of 34. Mainly cloudy tomorrow, maybe a spot shower, and a high 50. Sunshine on Thursday, the high of 49, and cloudy 53 on Friday. For the boater, waves 2 feet, west winds at 5 to 10 knots, and a high tide 8:28 a.m. Sunrise 6:38, sets at 7:02. A traffic note: Fore River Bridge scheduled to open at 11 a.m. I'm Joe Catalano with an AM Quincy news update for Tuesday, March 25th.